That was yesterday.
I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live. I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite. And that's the deal. I was born to ride.
Really? Well, you got to stay far away from each other. We're glad to do that.
This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio.
Born to Ride is sponsored in part by Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL, representing riders since 1988. Offices throughout Florida, 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Everyone was right, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
Welcome to this Thursday edition of Born to Ride Radio. That's right. Welcome back. I'm Fester Jenkins.
I'm Mama Dukes, and we're in the studio again with Ron and Debbie Galletti. Welcome back, guys.
Hey, how you doing? How was
Another
your
week.
Yes.
Oh,
Goes
yes.
by really fast.
Yes.
It's always great to be here with the boss and the hog and the radio.
I always walk in the door. My cheeks
You
already
guys.
start to hurt. It's so much fun. And this is what, week number 6, 7?
Something.
Seven,
Yep.
I think.
Week 7.
7?
And-
Somewhere in there.
And I've yet to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, boss. Come on out, wherever you are.
Yeah.
It depends on the day. Get him on a really good day.
Be careful what you wish for.
I saw him one time.
He can be cantankerous.
He is a real person, though. He's definitely a real person.
Brain sweets.
I could do that. Mama Galletti spaghetti is what
There you
they.
go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Well, hey, guys, how was your week?
Good, going great. Thursday's here.
Saturday will be here.
Yes, got
Mhm.
great
event
event.
up there, Crystal.
Yeah, nice event coming up on Saturday. Father's Day weekend. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's a Father's Day ride, at Crystal Harley Davidson. That's over in Crystal River. And we will be doing the bike show. We're doing a TV taping. There's going to be a ride. A lot of great stuff's going to be happening. They have great motorcycles on the floor. But we're going to be doing a TV taping. So bring your bikes out. Bring dad out. Even if you got to drive, it doesn't matter. Uber, ride. Bring them out. Let's get some pictures of some generations of family.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about, guys, father figures. If dad's gone, who is your father figure in life? Was it your stepdad? Was it your stepmom? Was it your mother? Was it your brother? Whoever's your father figure, that's what's the most important thing this weekend.
Everybody's gonna celebrate, and there's
Looking forward to it.
a great band that's gonna be there.
Yeah, Preacher Stone, man, I'm telling you
Yes.
what, those guys headline all kinds of rock fests and bike fests, and they're going to be there.
It's a free
Preacher
concert.
Stone live in concert.
Mm-hmm. That's a great addition.
The first 30 registrations for the ride are going to win free gifts. There's a $500 gift certificate that someone can win, and
A scallop trip too. I saw.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
scallop
Stay
trip
at that
for 4
resort.
people,
Yeah.
and a 2-day, 2-night stay for 2 at the plantation there.
Yeah.
Me and Debbie
Yeah.
are planning on winning those. We're gonna split
Yes,
it
we
up.
are.
The Nature Coast, man.
That's
Such a
right.
great place.
Yep.
It is beautiful. Monkey Island, everything.
Any new events rescheduled or anything?
Yeah, there's a few things going on. We talked about Leesburg coming back in the fall.
Well, we have the Great American Biker Bash. You know
That's
that's
right.
coming up. Yeah, that was
Yes.
rescheduled.
Yep.
And that's going to be at the end of July.
July 26th, I
That's
believe.
right. That's right at the Twilight Zone. And then coming up the very first of July, we have Duke's Brew House Bike Night Wednesday night. It's the first Wednesday of every month.
That's starting back up.
Yep, that's
Awesome.
going to be back. And, we got the Ride or Die grand opening. Kickoff Bash is coming up. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. The bike nights are starting. We have the Shadow Warriors. June 27th is going to be coming up. Poker Run.
They always do great
Central
things
Florida.
for the motorcycle charities. And there's something come up on July 11th recently also.
Yeah, July 11th, man. I'm telling you what, it's Clay by the Bay. Race fans,
I
it's
knew-
coming up.
I knew he wanted to do that.
Saturday. I wanted to say Sunday.
But it's
But it's
Saturday.
Saturday, you know
July
what?
11th.
And it's flat track racing. And I mean, Jeff might even be calling in tonight, and tell us all about it.
Now, are they that's at East Bay Raceway? Are they mixing that in with the sprint cars, or are they going to just do sprint cars on Friday night and then Saturday's going to be the flat track?
Yeah.
Yes, just flat track on Saturday. Mhm.
Okay.
Pretty decent sized purse too. So it's going to attract racers from all over. It's nice. Like close to $5,000 cash prizes, I believe.
Ooh.
Jeff
Wow.
will fill us in on that. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's been many years since we've had racing at East Bay.
Well, speaking of Jeff, I believe Jeff's on the line right now.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
All
Then we'll
right.
let him tell you all about
I'm
it.
telling you what.
Oh, Jeff. Okay. Well, Jeff, give us a call back.
Was that a fester finger again?
No. That wasn't me this time. Okay. He was on hold.
Fester has a Homer Simpson. When he does something. Yeah, he's like.
Yeah, I'm not good at hiding it. I will.
You'll admit it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw myself underneath the bus. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they brought racing back to Tampa Bay, and we're talking about flat track racing. Now, these are like warriors on clay, man, and they're going 100 miles an hour, handlebar to handlebar, and they're really going to fight it out. And it's like old school, it's like old school racing, and they don't have to have a $20,000-$30,000 nitro burning anything, man. It's just put some stuff together, get out on the track and race it. But these are pros and amateurs, some of the top in all the country. And they're coming. They are coming to Tampa Bay, people. So get your you can get tickets at the door that night. You bring the family, bring mama from the kitchen, man. Bring everybody out here to flat track and back in Tampa Bay. Can you believe it? It's been over 15, 20 years since they've been back. And we covered it back in the day. Chris Moorhead, one of the legends of flat track racing. And, he was there then. And these new guys are just going to go nuts, man. It's going to be off the chain.
Okay. I think Jeff's back. Hey, Jeff, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's just been one of those days that you get out of bed, you stub your toe, and you're like, man, I might as well climb back in bed because it's going to be a bad day.
Start the day
Well,
over.
it's live radio, so we expect it every once in a while. That's fine. Not a problem.
And we,
Hey, you know what? My phone had Tourette's, man. It just went crazy, and I'm like, wow. I go, well, I guess they're on there waiting for me.
I guess we owe Fester an apology. We were blaming it on his. finger.
Right? Yeah, don't blame it on him. It's all the towers' fault up here in Indiana.
So Jeff, I was just saying, race fans, man, you're
I
bringing
heard that, and then it went blank.
Clay by the Bay, man. Tell us, what can the people expect to see at Clay by the Bay, East Bay Speedway?
Well, they are going to see some two-wheel, 100-mile-an-hour racing action with some of the top amateurs and pros from all over the country down there. You know, I raced back there in the late 90s when I was pro, and it was a fast track, and, man, we're excited to be back down in the Tampa Bay area. And you know, it's the first for me putting on a race down in Florida. You know, usually I put them on in the Midwest, and with all this crazy stuff going on, you know, I had to go south to find a racetrack, and worked with Al over there, and we got a deal done. I flew down a couple weeks ago and flew back to Indiana, and now I've been scrambling and sponsors and, you know, the whole deal. So it's been quite the interesting, you know, last few weeks here.
I mean, they're going to be going like 100 miles an hour, handlebar to handlebar, hitting those curves. They're going to be battling it out because there's a big prize, man. It's a big purse, like $5,000 purse. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What we have is we put together a $5,000 purse, and it's like $3,500 for the twins class, and I think the winner of that class, you know, puts $1,500 in their pocket, and in the pro singles or the open pro singles class, we've got a $1,500 purse, and you know, I keep saying, hey, you know what? People listening down there that own businesses, come on board. We got Fight TV on board that will be live streaming this event, hitting the entire country. So people, if you have businesses, come on board, get your name out there. It's going to hit everybody around the country. And you know what? Help take care of some of these guys that are coming in from all over the country, you know, California and Oregon and Michigan, you know, so everywhere. So, you know, as that purse can build and build, you know, it's even better.
Well, you know, everybody's talking about it. I mean, the word is out. You know, that's a legendary racetrack. And Rubenstein Law has actually stepped up to the plate. You know, they've been representing riders since 1988, Jeff, and they're excited to be part of this race. I mean, they're going to be off. It's going to be off the chain.
It is, you know, and I talked to Ed a little bit ago, and I was saying, hey, don't forget the inflatable Rubenstein Law Firm deal you got, and the motorcycle, and shoot, man, I'm telling him not to forget stuff, and I'll probably forget me. You know, so like I said, yeah, you know, it's great to have them on board. You know, Rubenstein, they've been around a long time and helping injured riders out. So you know, I know they're really looking forward to this, and it's just going to be an awesome event, and we're very excited about it. And you know, I got SDTA down there, the Southern Dirt Track Association. They're a huge help for me because, you know, I'm clear up here in Indiana. So they went to bike night last night, I think over there at Quaker Steak or something like that, and handed out a bunch of flyers, and all their racers are going to be there. And so they're really helping me out down there as well. And you know, I got my race director out of Bonita Springs. He's helping out with this thing, and so I got a lot of good family and friends and people that work for me out of Florida. So it takes a little bit of pressure off of me, you know, being so far away, because when I put on races back here in the Midwest, you know, I'm pretty much hands-on leading up to the event. So it's going to give me a little, you know, it's going to give me a little time off here, and I can focus on the main things, which is the sponsorships and getting them taken care of. And so, like I said, we're very, very excited about this event.
Tell us what you're going to miss if you're not there, because I know you can see it on pay-per-view, Fight TV, but when you're there and you can smell it and feel it, I mean, what is it like for a race fan to come and watch flat track? And it's kind of old school, right? I mean, describe what they're going to miss if they're not there live.
Right. Well, you know what? You're right. You know, and in the Fight TV deal for $14.99, you know, that's for a lot of the fans that, you know, can't make it. You know, even guys that are racing their aunts, sisters, cousins, uncles, you know, so on and so forth, that, you know, maybe can't make the trip from California or what have you. So, but, you know, when I was a kid, you know, my dad raced professionally back in the 60s and early 70s. And, man, that's the biggest thing I remember is, you know, Dad loading up the bike, getting in the van, traveling with him. Back then we didn't have any partitions. He didn't partition anything in the middle of the van. So, my brother and I, we would sleep by the race bike and smell the race fuel all the way there. And I don't think I knew my own name when I got there from all, smelling all that race fuel.
Good times.
But
nothing like race fuel.
And smelling the fumes, and just being around. I mean, there's nothing that beats it. You can watch it on TV, and we encourage people that can't make it to watch it on TV. But man, for the people down that area and the surrounding areas, you got to come out and smell it and see it. It's one of a kind racing for sure.
And Jeff, you're a great racer. When that green flag, the green flag is about to drop, what are you thinking, man? You're revving it up, going, just ready to take off. What are you thinking right there? And then when you do take off, what are you looking for? Where's the line you want to get?
That whole shot.
Tell us.
Well, actually back in the day, they did drop the green flag, but, actually when I became pro, they had a green light, and that's, we'll have a green light system. But to get back to your point there, you're nervous before you get out to the starting line. I mean, if any racer says they're not a little nervous, because we all know the risk involved with it, and if you're not nervous, then there's something wrong. It's probably time to hang up the boot. But once you get out onto the line and, they get you lined up and you got all the guys around you, like a main event, we're going to run, I believe, 16 guys in the main event. So, that's a lot of riders in a within feet of each other. And, your biggest thing is, man, you want to get to that corner first and then get out front to get away from all the craziness that goes on. And then the other thing is, man, I don't want to go down when I'm leading because I got a whole bunch of guys behind me. I don't want to get run over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, we're looking forward to it, right, Deb?
Well, wait, I wanted to be the flag girl, but I see you already have someone a little more special than me coming. Tell us about her.
The flag girl or the broadcaster?
Yeah, all the above.
All the above, yeah. So, our flagman, Bubba Blackwell, who's like Evil Knievel, he did a lot of work with AFT over there out of Daytona, the American Flat Track Series. And Bubba, we got a deal signed with him, and he's exciting, and man, he's just full of energy. So, we're glad to have Bubba on board, and he's from Alabama, so he's got that huge Alabama accent, and he's going to be great, for the event. And, we brought on Jackie Van Ham. She's done a lot of TV stuff with the American Flat Track Series and knows flat track racing. And she's going to bring a lot to the table with experience in the production end of things. And, we got Garth Brow. I don't know if you know about Garth. Garth is a Michigan Mafia, they call him, with the Go Fasters, like Scotty Parker and Jay Springsteen. And Garth now lives down in Tampa. And so he's going to be actually in the booth with Daniel Laxon, a guy out of Kokomo, Indiana, who also lives down there. And they're going to be calling the play-by-play for the fans that are there. And then Jackie will also be calling the play-by-play on Fight TV. So we got a great lineup going on, and man, we're excited. I can't wait to get on a plane and get down to Florida.
Well, I'm telling you what, race fans, get ready for this. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be giving away tickets. Matter of fact, someone just message us and tell us why you should win tickets. We're going to go through all the answers, and we're going to put some names at the, at will call. Well, that's cool, right, to do that?
Right. Well, right, and when I get down there, I'll even up the ante a little bit, as long as they tell their friends and family to come and check this thing out. So when I get down there, maybe you guys can get me on the air, and I will give out pit passes that are good for the Bo Braswell VIP seating. We will have special for the vendors.
There you go.
And the people that win the passes. So they'll be good for the grandstands, the Bo Braswell VIP section, and they'll be able to get down in the pits and walk through and meet riders and check everything out. And you know what? We might we get a little downtime. We might just have a 45-minute hour break there that possibly we can get some fans out of the stands and get them down there and do a meet and greet type of deal. So, and that brings brings up another point. Bo Braswell, country musician out of Nashville, Tennessee. Bo is going to do the national anthem for us, and you might see him doing a little commentary down on the track, talking to the riders as well.
That's
Great.
awesome. And you know what?
USA.
We have two celebrities that just might be able to make it. Mama Dukes and Fester Jenkins right here from Boss Hog Radio.
Celebrities now.
They have a promo vehicle. You wouldn't believe how cool this is, man.
I'm thinking Mama would be the good flag girl.
They have the cool vehicle, so we're going to try to get them out there and be a part of this
and
too.
I believe, I think, I got to think Hellbenders is at motorcycles down there out of the Tampa area, I do believe.
Kenny
Kenny Dukes, that's a buddy of ours.
Yes.
Yeah, and they came on board, with some sponsorship to kind of help this thing out. So, like I said, I really encourage anybody listening, man, any shop. Really, I mean, it could be pizza. It could be a Pizza Hut, whatever.
It's a good family night.
Some sponsorship and call me up, man, and we'll work something out. But I would love to see this thing really kick off huge.
Yes.
Well, man, you're welcome every week up until then to give us an update. How about that? And let's just keep cranking it up. We appreciate you letting Born to Ride be a part of this, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on board, and I know you guys are working your butts off down there to make this a huge event. And like I said, that takes a little pressure off of me being so far away. So greatly appreciate all of you. And like I said, man, can't wait to meet everybody. And we'll sit down and talk some flat track racing, maybe over a cold beverage when I get down there.
Sounds good, man.
Adult beverage.
All right, race
For me,
fans.
please.
Absolutely.
Race fans, that's Clay by the Bay. Don't miss it.
July 11th, East Bay Raceway.
All right, real quick, you guys want to talk about how much the tickets are?
Sure.
All right, so adult tickets are going to be $20 for the event. Kids 6 to 12, it's going to be $10, and kids 5 and under are free. So for $20 to come out, and we're going to have on all the racers, all the classes, we're going to have 10 amateur classes, and we're going to have 2 pro classes. So they're going to see 12 classes that night, and man, it's going to be awesome. From little kids all the way up to even a 60-year-old. We got a 50+ class going on.
That's awesome, man. They can buy the whole seat, but they're only going to need the edge. All right, man. We'll touch base every single week. We will get an update for flat track.
Awesome.
Right,
Sounds great. And look forward to seeing you guys or hearing from you guys next week.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Yes. And that's going to be at the classic East Bay Raceway. I'll tell you, that place, that venue has been around. I can't remember it not being around. Right. That thing is just, it's an awesome place. Yeah. Go see some local racing, sit in the stands, and eat a little bit of dirt whenever it comes around.
Nothing like it. Eating a hot dog, drinking a beer, and smelling that smell, and
The first time we took our kids, we let them sit right up front because we knew when those bikes come around, they were going to get peppered with mud. We just sat back and watched. They're like,
They loved it. They went there and got closer to get more dirty. We paid for it later because they tracked it all in the car. And their friends that we brought with them, too.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a bad mom and dad moment, but it was fun.
So we have another caller already?
Absolutely. Dave Nichols on the line. Hey, welcome back, Dave.
Hey, Sunday. I'm going to call over there to Gator Kavanaugh this Sunday.
Race man.
It's Saturday, Dave. Oh, gosh.
That's right.
So, Dave, how are you, man? Thank you for calling in again and being a part of the show.
Heck yeah. I'm part of the family now, kid.
That's right.
That's right, man. And
Crazy uncle, huh?
Crazy Uncle
right.
Dave.
and
Deranged parrot. Quiet. Be quiet. Jeez.
the phones have been ringing off the hook, and they say, Dave Nichols told me to call. Hi, I'm calling because of Dave Nichols. And, just got a lot of stuff happening. We got major deals on the table.
Look at on my list. It's
damn.
every day. Dave Nichols wants you to do this. Dave Nichols wants you to do that. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm just getting started.
I know.
Nothing yet.
She's got her own folder just for Dave.
You've got to put down those energy drinks, please. You're killing a girl.
Every day I call up Deb and I say, okay, listen, this guy's going to call you. He's got a list, but don't say anything about it. He's going to call you up, and he's going to talk to you about being on this thing. And I'm driving her crazy.
I know. It's so exciting. I'm going, oh my gosh, what did he get us hooked up with now? And I'm Googling things, and it's fun. It's fun. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it was
it's like I told you, I'm only going to bring you good people.
And that's so important because that's who you are. And, you've earned the respect that you have in this biker community. And, that's one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is tell us a little bit about the beginning days of Easy Riders, because it's so iconic, man. We got to go back to that and get a little bit more about history and a story or two about the early days of Easy Riders when you really helped put it in gear and put it in place and, just create that real biker publication like no other.
Well, I'll tell you guys, this is a true story. And this happened before I started working for them because the first editor was Lou Kimsey. And Lou was the brains behind Easy Riders. He's the guy who had this vision for what this thing could be like. Because back then, a motorcycle magazine was very straight. And it was, we're going to tell you, we're going to have this bike go up against this bike, and we're going to have a shootout and see which of these two bikes are the best for your buck, which is great. But what we wanted to do is create something that really talked to the biker audience, a real biker lifestyle magazine about the people. And the bikes are certainly a huge part of that. But it's about how we have fun and where we go and what we do and the whole culture that is wrapped around two wheels. That's what it is, really, So Easy Riders, and before Easy Riders, there was a magazine called Choppers that was created by Big Daddy Roth. And it's back. It's back. Kerry Brobeck is the editor, and I work on that a little bit, and it's a great quarterly magazine. But Easy Riders was the one that captured the lifestyle, really. And I remember in the early 70s, I would go down to this little market down the street, a little Italian deli, and they had a magazine rack. And on the magazine rack was like the first couple of issues of Easy Riders magazine. And I picked that thing up and started looking through it. And you know what? There were scantily clad ladies in there. Yeah, and it talked about the partying and the fun and the bikes, and I went, I got to have this. Well, apparently, the nice family that owned Rizzo's Deli, they didn't realize that there were, pretty much naked ladies in there, so they sold me the magazines, as a kid, and I go, I took them home and devoured them,
Up to the tree fort you went, huh?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. When I actually got a job working at Easy Riders, I thought this is the ultimate, really. I mean, if you love motorcycles, who wouldn't want to hang out at the Easy Riders Clubhouse, right? So this is a true story, and of course this is back when Lou was the editor. Back in the day, in the early days, before Easy Riders was even a monthly magazine, they didn't go in there and work their asses off every day to create this thing. They waited to the last possible minute.
And
they'd come in there, and Lou would have a briefcase, and he would open it on the conference table. And he'd say, okay, let's see, Ron, let's see. If I remember right, you like pot and these whites here. And he'd lay out, here, that's for you. And Deb, you like the
cheesecake
meth and and a little mushrooms. I remember. and so he would lay all these things out on the table and then say to the staff, "Okay, let's get creative."
Okay.
It must have worked.
Yeah.
Let's try that on the next radio show.
Yeah. And, 48 hours later, the magazine went off to the printer. And apparently, that's how they did it way back in the day. Well, when I got there, things were a little different. They were a little bit more corporate, but not much. like you could still go into the managing editor's office where you had a big bottle of Jack Daniels, pour yourself a shot any time if you were having a rough day. It was that kind of place. And it was very cool. People could bring their dogs to work. There were motorcycles inside the building. There were motorcycles outside in the parking lot. And honest to God, on Fridays at noon, everybody got on their bike and went for a ride, because if you weren't riding your bike, you certainly couldn't write about riding your bike. And
that's for sure, Dave.
It was the coolest. It was the best. And then, of course, when I came on board, Keith Ball was the editor, and he was like God. You walk in, and here's this guy who's like 7 feet tall, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Keith Ball." And you go, wow, he's bigger than life, this guy.
We got to take a break, Dave. Can you hold and be back?
I'll take a break too.
Okay, sounds great. Hold on.
We're breaking together.
That's right. Welcome back to Born to Ride Radio on the Boss Hogg Radio Network. And we've got we've got Ron and Debbie Galletti in the studio and Dave Nichols on the line. Hey, welcome back, Dave.
Yes, I'm back. Yes.
Hey, is that SpongeBob?
Are you ready to partay, Patrick?
I'm ready to partay, SpongeBob.
Are you ready to partay, Mr. Krabs?
I'm ready to partay, SpongeBob.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I listened to Mr. Rubenstein when his ad was on, and I went out and got an attorney, and I don't even know why.
Because you just need one.
That guy is too much, man.
He said, get an attorney. So I did.
Well, they have 10 offices in the state of Florida, and their main office is in Miami, at the penthouse of, what was it? The penthouse of the, what's the name of that hotel?
The Sheraton? No. That's a building. I don't know. It's in the penthouse in Miami.
It's a penthouse of the, one of them high-end restaurants. I don't know, but it's just unbelievable. But man, you were talking about that 7-foot giant, larger than life legend, Keith Ball. I know you have some stories about Keith Ball. I mean, anybody knows Keith Ball. I mean, the real deal guy.
Yeah, Keith was amazing, and he and Frank Keisler were the early on editors. After Lou Kimsey eventually he had diabetes, and so he got to the point where he couldn't work anymore, but he still consulted with us. But Frank Keisler and Keith Ball, they were it in the early days of Easy Riders magazine. And Keith was one of these guys that had every cool motorcycle you ever could imagine. He had Pat Kennedy build this gorgeous orange Easy Riders chopper that was in his office, sitting there. Like you'd walk in and there it is. And then you'd go in and he had this panhead motor that was his desk with a glass top. And then over to the side, he had this great big conference table that was literally a jail door, a metal, cell door that had glass on top of it. And you'd pull up a motorcycle seat that was your seat, like a bar stool. And we would have these editorial meetings. And the thing about Keith is, early on, Keith figured out how to have, not Bluetooth, because this was a thing, where you had a cord still into your phone. You wouldn't know he's on the phone. So you'd walk in and you'd say, Keith, look, I got this idea for a new story. I think you're really going to like it. And he would smile and he would hold up one finger. And then you'd realize that the whole time that you had been talking to him, he was on the phone with somebody. He's like, just a minute. Okay. Now, what were you saying? What was that? And, but he was the most fun guy to work for. We went to Sturgis one year. It was the first year that I was working for them. I got to go to Sturgis with Rip and Keith Ball and Kim Peterson and the legends.
Rip, the famous photographer.
Yeah. Rip Rose.
Man, one time we were in Daytona one time, and we were covering this Harley big charity ride. It was when I first started Born to Ride. They were there shooting. Willie G was there, and somehow, I don't know how I did it, but I got in his way when he was in the middle of taking a big photo, and he just breathed my ass, man. He was like, "What the hell? Get out of my damn way, man!" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, sorry, bro." And you just learn that etiquette of being in the field, and it was great to get a lesson from him that day, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I think he yelled,
it was
"Photographer,
awesome.
Courtesy, please."
I mean, he was like
Real and raw.
I mean, he was cussing up a storm, man. I was like, "Oh gosh, I screwed up." But you know what?
He was the enforcer too.
Yeah.
Like he was a member of the El Diablos motorcycle club. And you didn't mess around. I mean, he wasn't called Rip. It was, R.I.P. You didn't mess around with this guy,
Like I said, man, I felt the power he had, and I'm like, oh man, I apologize, sir.
Well, I'll tell you, and you know this.
But I still got my shot.
Yeah, good. If he was hollering at you, you know this. And Rip was a pretty big guy too, but I didn't know this until I met him. His Rip had a voice like this. And so here's this great big biker guy, but he's got this little voice like this. He would interview people on our videos. We did Easy Riders Home videos. And Rip loved racing. So he would be interviewing drag racers at Sturgis. And it's like, well, tell us about this bike here. And that can't be his voice. He needs to have a voice like this. Tell me about but that was Rip, man, and he started Rip's Bad Ride, which was Bikers Against Diabetes, and we were a part of that for many years. What a guy! What an amazing guy! That whole thing! It was like the perfect reality TV show that never happened. Imagine if you had Rip and Keith Ball and Kim Peterson, who's about 5 feet tall and full of energy because he's on crank and he's running around in little circles and taking a lot of pictures and he's sweating all over you. I mean, he was, we had the most amazing group of people. Dean Schaller, Clean Dean Schaller, did Biker Magazine, and Dean was kind of laid back, and he would have himself a little 420 and forget why he was sitting there. What was I doing?
Yeah, Dean did a story on Born to Ride like 20 years ago. I mean, he was really cool, and a lot of good people from that. But what about that? You guys were at the forefront of biker rights, man. Like the rights of bikers. That was unheard of, man. You guys led the way with that. I mean, how did that come along?
Women riding bikes was unheard of too.
Yeah, but they still had naked girls in the magazine.
Oh.
They weren't even going there yet. We were talking about biker rights, though.
You
right?
know, this is all seriousness. I think I was an Easy Riders one time.
You were Pitcher Pat. Did you know Pitcher Pat Randall?
I was an Easy Riders. I had
absolutely.
all my clothes
I
on.
was going to say, were you
Yeah.
naked? Because he
Picture
just said
Pat.
naked. She's like, oh, wait.
At
This
Gary
one time.
Smith. Gary Smith was a famous airbrush artist, did all Hulk Hogan's work. And we went to his house. Pitcher Pat came out and did my bike and Deb's bike at the same time. Matter of fact, on the way home, we were with other guys with custom bikes, a wife and a husband and wife, and they got their bikes stolen at Outback Steakhouse while we were in there eating. And
Yeah, backed right
it
up.
was
Put
crazy.
it in the box
It was
truck.
unbelievable. We came out and their bike was gone.
There,
I got to tell you, one cool thing as I am talking to people in the industry, almost every single one of them, you know, when I tell them about Born to Ride, they say, "Oh yeah, you know, I think they interviewed me once for their TV show." Everybody over the last 25 years, you know, Ron and Deb have interviewed everybody.
we tried to cover it all.
Well, that's a great point,
Yeah.
Dave, because anytime you're a producer and you produce or whatever you do, you're judged really by your body of work. And you don't just get all these promos with Willie Nelson or Charlie Daniels or Evel Knievel or Willie G overnight or Hulk Hogan and, you know, even Chuck Mangione, all kinds of people. It just happens sometimes. And that's what it takes so long to get that body of work. And we're proud of that, you know, and that's a great thing because another thing is Florida is such a state with the bike week. So that everybody comes here. So they're going to be exposed to the magazine and the hotel. We always made sure we put them in the hotels, motels, the resorts, where everybody goes, the industry stays. They're going to pick it up. We used to do an infomercial during Bike Week and make sure it ran in all the hotel rooms. And I would run it at 6 to 8 a.m. and run it from 10 to 1 a.m. because that's when people are in their hotel rooms getting ready to go. And we'd go out in the field and, you know, we'd see all these big hi-fi camera crews and all this with their nose up in the air, and we'd just be running and gunning and doing our thing. And I mean, our stuff would get edited, put right on the show. Sometimes I'd see these other people's stuff, and they don't even know how to shoot the biker lifestyle. They weren't bikers. You know, there's angles and dynamics that you have to have, and we just tried to expose that to people, and it's just a natural thing, you know. So, yeah, it's rewarding, you know, that we have documented the lifestyle in a proper way as much as possible, you know.
Ronnie would hand me the microphone and go, "There he is. There's so-and-so. Go get an interview." And he'd start the camera, and I'm like, okay, who am I talking to?
We always figured it out.
You know, okay, that speaks an enormous amount for you, Deb, though, because you just jump in there, you know.
Yeah, but
Like,
she forgot to tell you. There is some direction there.
Yeah, just like the time we were at the Playboy Mansion, you go, "Here, this is a famous guy. Take a picture next to him." I'm going, "Oh, okay, who is it?" It's Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. She didn't even know. Of course, Deb didn't even know who he was.
She's still like,
Damn,
who was
light
he?
my fire, man. Well,
I hope you didn't get too close.
Oh, he was right up on her. But we also got to interview Hugh Hefner, and Dennis Quaid was there, Gene Simmons, you know, all kinds of Playboy models and plastic people, and it was just crazy stuff, man. You know, the fourth time we went to the Playboy Mansion, it was a night of decadence because it was Halloween. So it was really crazy that night.
I'll bet that is something to see. Is being at the Playboy Mansion on Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah, the only costumes
Wow.
were there were body paint costumes. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was all good.
So which animal did you go as, Deb? I mean,
Did you feel overdressed?
Yeah,
She was.
I was.
She went as a pirate.
Yeah, I go as a pirate. Yeah.
yeah, now you're talking. There you are.
But I did see Dennis Quaid. Yes.
So that's pretty cool that you've been actually talking to people about Born to Ride, Dave.
Well, yeah.
He's been working.
He's a part of it now.
I did. I sent a list over to Ron and Deb the other day of all the people I've been talking to. So, yeah, and what's great is where you guys are located, because you have pretty much taken over the entire southeast of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's where more than half of the registered motorcyclists reside. It's like the place. And especially, I'm sure in Florida, you get to ride year-round.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's not to like?
Yeah, and that's why it's important to be able to be seen at Bike Week and see the product or see the magazine and, put it out there, because everybody comes to Bike Week from all over the world, and they're going to take that home with them. They're going to go back to the website and, find out a little bit more about Born to Ride. So we've always tried to document it properly and just have some good content, dynamic stuff, and travel adventure, charity, and, supporting our veterans, what bikers like. But we know they're coming to Florida, so it's a great testing ground for some of these big companies you're sending our way and you're talking to right now. And, the phone calls that are coming in are these big companies with the rigs, and, it's exciting. Merchandise contracts. There was a big meeting last Friday. We can't talk about it yet, but man, a lot of good stuff, Dave, is already coming. You're already kind of energized with the jump start. And I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really it, because everybody in this industry, they're all reinventing themselves right now. They're all trying to make it work and figure things out. Nobody expected this goofy virus to come along. It really changed a lot.
And come along again.
Yeah, right. So, my thing is, I absolutely know that anybody that rides a motorcycle, they want to be out there riding their bike now more than ever, and,
Oh, yeah.
and, but riding a bike, you're social distancing.
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
You're very active riding your bike, So, yeah, I think that this will be, as we move forward, an incredible time to be on two wheels, and it's a great time to be part of Born to Ride. I'll tell you that.
And that is awesome, Dave. And speaking of putting a leg over a bike and riding it, just how important has motorcycles been to your life?
It has been my entire life, really. I mean, from the time I was 15 years old, I think that seeing then came Bronson was on TV, and Easy Rider came out in '69, and I'll tell you, I just had to have a motorcycle, and once you get that bug, you're pretty much done. You're going to be into it for your whole life, and it's been a great blessing for me because you feel absolutely content when you're out on your bike. If I start feeling a little edgy, my wife would always go, you need to go take a ride. That's right.
I think
That's
I saw that
exactly it.
battery going dead on that bike. You better go